I think, the most interesting story in the offseason right now in the NFL, by far, even during Super Bowl week, is what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. Now, we had Deshaun Watson on the show 2 years ago at the Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson in Atlanta came on the show. He was fantastic. Everybody loves him. Good dude. His relationship right now seems broken with the Houston Texans. I've told you, if I were the Houston Texans, I would do whatever I could to fix that relationship. But right now, they cannot manage to get it fixed. And so I ran through, to start the show, I ran through a list of teams that, to me, could feel like, hey, next year we could be this year's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The NFL's a copycat league. Bucs go from 7-9 to playing in the Super Bowl. Why did they do that? Veteran quarterback Tom Brady. That's it. That's your answer. Basically the same team. Otherwise, Brady took a team that was 7-9, hadn't been to the Super Bowl in 12 years, hadn't been to the playoffs in 12 years, to the Super Bowl. How do you do that? Veteran quarterback comes in, changes the culture overnight. Danny Amendola, what did he say? The Patriot way should just be a picture of Tom Brady. All right? That's not an endorsement of Bill Belichick in any way. That is saying the Patriot dynasty happened because of Tom Brady. There are a bunch of teams out there that feel like they could make that same run. I ran through them with you in the first hour of the program. They are the Patriots, the Bears, the Colts, the 49ers, the Dolphins, Washington, and maybe the Saints, depending on what Drew Brees does. That's 7 teams in conjunction with the Rams, who already made their move. They all think we're a quarterback away. Now, there are other teams out there that are certainly in need of a quarterback, but they ain't a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a quarterback away, and they're a corner away, and they're a couple linebackers away, and they're a wide receiver away, and they're a couple tackles away, right? You can run through a lot of things that the Jags need. They're going to get better when they take Trevor Lawrence. I already like the idea that they hired Urban Meyer, but one player doesn't put the Jags in the Super Bowl. The Patriots, the Bears, the Colts, the 49ers, the Dolphins, Washington, and the Saints, one player could put them in the Super Bowl. But one of those teams, to me, has a desperate need to be better next year. And that team is the New England Patriots. Because don't underrate the ego of Bill Belichick. Don't understate how desperately he wants to be able to replace this argument out there that Tom Brady is the reason for the New England Patriot dynasty and that he was just a coach, just a guy, just JAC. What do you say when you're not convinced that a guy's a difference maker? He's a jag. He's just a guy. A lot of guys out there, you plug them in, they may do fine at a job. Wherever you work, you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of you out there that have people you work with, and if they disappeared, the business wouldn't change at all. In show business, there are character actors. Guys you can plug in. They might be good at their job, but if they disappear, they don't matter. They're not Tom Cruise. They're not Denzel Washington. They aren't the reason that you go see a movie. Right now, for the first time in 20 years, people can say about Bill Belichick, he's just a coach. Because if you look at his record without Tom Brady, that's what he is. JAC, just a coach. He's got a losing record in the NFL. A lot of games he's coached when Tom Brady hasn't been there. We used to say about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, hey, look at what happened when Brady didn't play for that whole year. Matt Castle stepped in, and the Patriots still won 11 games. Remember when Tom Brady was suspended and Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo had to come in and play for those 4 games? Patriots still won 3 of them. Coming into this season, you could look at Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, and you could say in New England without Brady, Belichick went 14-6. That's pretty doggone good. I was one of those people who said it. Belichick mattered more than Brady. I think there was a strong argument for that being the case. Not anymore. Not anymore when Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl And Bill Belichick's 7-9 and not even in the playoffs. Not anymore when Danny Amendola and other former Patriots are starting to tee off a little bit, maybe because they didn't like the way that Belichick carried himself, and they're saying, hey, the Patriot way was all about Tom Brady. It wasn't about Bill Belichick at all. And Bill Belichick likes to claim he's above the noise. He doesn't listen to nincompoops like me and you and everybody else out there who argues about these things. He doesn't care. I think he's not telling the truth. I think deep down, Belichick has been desperately rooting for Tom Brady to fail once the playoffs started. I think during the season he was so busy. I don't think Belichick, and I really do believe this, coaches are so focused on their own team, laser-liked, that I don't think Belichick was paying that much attention to what was going on with Tom Brady. I don't think Belichick was sitting around watching every game, but you know he's been watching in the playoffs. And if you could put him on a lie detector test and you said, Bill, were you rooting for the Bucs or Washington? If he said the Bucs, I think that thing would go haywire. Same thing against New Orleans, same thing against Green Bay. I think Belichick wanted Brady to lose in the playoffs. I would bet almost every spare dollar I have. If you put Belichick on a lie detector test and you knew it was going to work, he would either lie and get caught in it or he'd tell you the truth, which was he didn't want Brady to win. Because this guy's super competitive. And he knows that his life's work, which is substantial and incredible and fantastic and phenomenal, and the likes of which no other coach has ever achieved in the NFL. But there's a but that you throw in there. The debate has long been who matters more, and right now Brady has basically scored a first-round knockdown on Bill Belichick on that argument. If Belichick is going to get back up off the canvas, what he has to do is he has to start winning immediately next year. How could he guarantee that he wins immediately next year and keeps winning for the next several years? The answer is pretty straightforward and clear. He can go get Deshaun Watson. Because if he goes and gets Deshaun Watson, by the way, you're going to throw for more touchdown passes than the 4 that Cam Newton threw for. You don't have to design a special offense to take advantage of what Cam Newton can do. Your offensive systems with Josh McDaniel look a lot better with Deshaun Watson under center. You can go start to build around him. You'll be in the playoffs virtually every year, and all of a sudden, boom, Bill Belichick, genius coach extraordinaire, is back in the headlines. And he's going to be able to coach, if he wants to, longer than Brady will be able to play, which means that the final chapter of the Brady versus Belichick dynasty is still to be written, and that Bill Belichick has the opportunity to be the author of that chapter. How could you ensure that that story ends with Belichick rising once again to the level of Super Bowl champion? By getting Deshaun Watson, no matter what the cost is, to New England. I know it's not vintage Patriots. They try to underpay all the time, but I think the pressure on Belichick is of a different nature and level right now. And I think Deshaun Watson to New England could make an awful lot of sense.